Hey everybody, I am here with Celine from Sun Life. And if you're wondering how much did I prepare by practicing her name, because my French roots want me to say Céline with an accent aigu, and it's not that. So Celine, how do you get a name like Celine? Are you French? Tell us the story.
So sadly, I'm not French. I have a family that's French. So my grandpa, aunts and uncles, mom, but the French didn't get passed down to me. Obviously, my dad didn't speak French, so growing up, I just didn't get into it. Which obviously down the road, you're like, why did you teach me this? But so now it's Celine. I always get Celine all the time as well, but definitely Celine is the pronunciation. So thanks for confirming that.
No problem. And it's funny because Celine to me is like the perfect name for Sun Life because it means heavenly. It's like it's almost sounds like soleil, like it's the perfect name. So in a weird way, this was destiny. This was destiny.
Right? Exactly. Sun Life just found me. They knew my name right away.
I love it. So Celine, tell us about your role with the campus team at Sun Life.
Yeah, definitely. So I've been with Sun Life for about 4 years now, on the campus team for three. But I actually joined Sun Life as a new graduate out of the University of Waterloo. So kind of was navigating my career, figuring out what I wanted to do within the HR space. And I worked really closely in the first year with campus, and I was always so interested on the recruitment behind that. Obviously, just coming out of university, you kind of have those ties there. So I've had the chance to start out in a coordinator to a recruiter to now a program manager. So really was able to grow within that department at Sun Life. And I've been able to see all different areas of the business. So from actuarial to IT to accounting and finance. And now I'm focused more on our new grad strategies for a lot of our rotational leadership programs. So yeah, it's
I
been
love
great
it.
so far, and definitely a good journey of kind of growing with Sun Life out of school as well.
Yeah, and that gives you like a really unique lens, right? Because you were the student that you're now recruiting. And so, and obviously we were all students at one point, but you were recruited by the organization that now you're recruiting with, which is really cool. So tell me, from that kind of unique perspective, why should students see Sun Life as an ideal place? Why did you see it as an ideal place to start?
Yeah, definitely. So I know when I was in school, insurance isn't that, I guess, topic or industry that you first are attracted to. Insurance is more, I don't really need insurance right now. My parents have it. I kind of go through them. But I actually had a lot of different family members and people in my community that worked for Sun Life, and they were just really genuinely happy in the roles that they took on and the work-life balance with Sun Life. So I was like, why not explore this, see what opportunities are out there? And that's when I saw kind of a generalist HR position that I applied for. And it's funny, I applied originally for a coordinator role in recruitment, which I didn't end up getting, but then I ended up getting that generalist role and still made my way back to recruitment. So it always, finds a way to get back there. But definitely as a new graduate, I think Sun Life really, because we're such a large organization from insurance to financial services, investments, and so on, there's so much room to grow. So even in my 4 years, I've been able to be in four different roles. And that's not because I didn't like my roles or my teams. I've stayed on the same team and really loved it. It's more that I've always been asked, what do you want to do next? What do you want to learn about? Where do you want to go with what you're doing? So I think that growth is really great. And especially coming out of school, you don't want to be in that same position, and kind of you want that continuous learning to continue on as you move into that new graduate role with the company. So I think Sun Life does a great job of career mobility and promoting it, not only through our graduate programs, but also just in general. If you join Sun Life through a normal pathway, typically we see so much movement with those larger organizations. So I think that's something that really attracted me, and we see it in a lot of students that join us as well.
Yeah, 100%. And you hit on so many juicy points for students there in that answer. Like, I feel one is the whole sometimes it's someone that we know that works at an organization that gives us like even the impetus to look at that organization twice, right? Because we hear good things or we know they've had a long career. The other thing that I loved in there is, the idea of perseverance. So even yourself, like you apply for a job, wasn't necessarily the one you got, but you persevere and then you get through that perseverance. You get to see just how broad the organization is, right? The cool thing about Sun Life and some of the other really large, great Canadian organizations is that you could have a career in one organization that lasts like 30 years or more than 30 years, but do so many different jobs that it really feels like you've been jumping around. When you go back to like, when you were a student, Do you think that you're looking for more Celines, or are you looking for something else? Like, what do you look for in students that you're hiring?
Yeah, definitely. So I look for more of the soft skills, definitely in students. You're looking for that potential. You don't expect them to have all the experience in the world, that 10-year of experience that people see in job descriptions. So really it's that adaptability, well-rounded. So maybe you've tried out a couple things. You've really wanted to continue that learning through clubs, association, case competitions. So those extracurriculars and volunteer go such a long way, because not everyone gets to have hands-on experience in co-ops throughout their schooling. I know for myself, I wasn't part of a co-op program. I had no clue about when to recruit for new grad opportunities, anything like that. So definitely looking for more of those soft skills than only the experience. And I would say for myself, I did a lot of different outside of my schooling. So things that weren't even related to, let's say, HR or my degree. And I think that's what's really helped me even grow in my career, because I always want to try different things. So whether it's a project, whether it's a different line of business to recruit for, I'm always putting my hand up and saying, yeah, I'll try that. Why not? Right. And that's really where I find I learn and grow. And when I see students with that same enthusiasm to say, yeah, I'll try that, I'll take on this role, even though it's not in their background, I think that's so important to really, I guess, grow their experience or grow those skills through different extracurriculars as well.
Yeah, yeah, so well said. I'm going back to something you said earlier too. You talked about how, insurance really isn't top of mind for many students, right? Because like you said, it's not, I think of something like Lululemon, and if they're, out there recruiting, and you think about, yeah, that's top of mind for a lot of students because they're buying Lululemon at the moment. Maybe they bought it on Saturday and now they're at the recruiting event on Monday, right? But yeah, they're not necessarily buying insurance. And it brings up another question, which is there's probably a lot of things that, students don't know about Sun Life or about the industry. They don't know today, and I'm sure you didn't even know when you were a student. But what are some of those things that you wish they did know, that maybe will make them say, hey, wait a second, I really should consider Sun Life?
Yes, yeah. So in terms of the insurance industry overall, I think, like I said before, it's such a broad industry. So you're not necessarily only working in insurance. You could be working in IT as an accountant, as an actuary. And even if you are in accounting, you may work with teams in IT and get that experience as well. So because Sun Life is so large, I think you'll see so much more than if you just went into kind of one stream and stayed there and kind of that was the only product the company offered. I think because we have so many services and products, you kind of get to see a lot more that way.
Yeah. And now, one thing's for sure, you work on an awesome team with awesome people. I know this. Tell me a little bit about the team. And more importantly, for everyone watching, you talked about potential, you hire for potential, you hire for the right reasons. Let's put it that way, right? How can they stand out to their team? How can they connect with your team? What's the kind of the best path for students that want to get a job, want to get noticed?
Yeah, definitely. So I've worked with all different recruiters on my team. Like you said, an awesome team, so much energy, always willing to kind of pitch in and help out, which is so nice. But in terms of the recruitment side and what we really look for, I think putting yourself out there, but not only when you're looking for a job. So not only reaching out to us saying, hey, do you have opportunities for, let's say, fall or at this time? I think it's using your network, but kind of all throughout the year. So maybe a recruiter posts something, it's reacting and engaging with that post. Obviously, being in a virtual world, that's the first thing that comes to mind. When we're in person on campus, obviously coming up and having those chats and attending events, that right there will make you stand out above other students that aren't attending and just applying to, let's say, the posting. So I think that really helps too. We love the engagement on our team with students, and even coffee chats. So Sun Life is huge on coffee chats. And whether it's with someone on my team in recruitment or someone actually in the role that you want to do, I think it's so important that you talk to somebody before necessarily going for that opportunity, because it's also about what you're going to get out of it. So you want to hear from someone in that role, what the day-to-day looks like, maybe what they like or don't like, and really kind of get that insight before maybe just asking, what roles do you have, or what fall opportunities do you have? I think really digging in, having those coffee chats. And when a student comes to me and said, oh, I talked to this student in your new grad program, they told me this, that just like lights a bulb for me in my head, because I'm so excited that they've invested the time to really see if this opportunity is suited for them.
Amazing. Now, for students that are about to meet you or watching this video and they're thinking, okay, so many good tips, and now I want to know more about Sun Life, and now I know how to interact with your team. What's something they should know about you so that they can break the ice with you next time they see you and chat with you?
About me.
Yeah, tell me something that like what do you love doing? What's something that you have a great time doing, say on a weekend, or something you're passionate about?
Something that I'm definitely passionate about, other than my giant dog. So I have a 120-pound dog. Anytime I talk about my dog, that's a good conversation starter. But outside of that, in terms of outside of work, pre-COVID, I was doing a lot of volunteer with our family and child services in the area, and that's something that I'm really passionate about. Is just volunteering in general, getting involved in your community. So I love hearing about students and initiatives that they're passionate about and really want to take on. And whether that's with school or in their community, I think when they talk about that, it gets me excited, but I also get to see their passion come through, which is one of my favorite things. So definitely that.
I love it. That would be for me. If I'm a student listening to this, I would just be like, she wants to hear about what I'm passionate about, which is pretty cool at the end of the day, right? So fantastic. Listen, any last things you want to say to students out there watching this?
For me, it's just really, like I said, show your passions and really be your authentic self when you're applying to jobs and having those conversations. So many times, you can pretend to be maybe what you expect us or what you want us to think of you, but really it's when you show your authentic self and your passions is when you're really going to stand out and get noticed, because those little things set you apart from the standard candidate that's applying. So definitely don't be afraid to be yourself. Brag about yourself, even tell me what you're passionate about, what you're successful in. So many times I feel like we don't want to talk about ourselves, but when you're talking to a recruiter, really that's the time to share with me what you really care about, kind of your values and passions, and what you take part in. So just don't be afraid to be your authentic self. And I think also really looking into the opportunities that you're pursuing by having those connections and conversations will help guide you to kind of take those next steps in your career as well. So I think those are, I guess, two important things that I would love to share with any students listening.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Celine. I really appreciate it. You're amazing to give your time for this. And everybody apply to Sun Life. And like she said, make sure that you're connecting and doing the right things. Engage, interact, get out there, talk about your passions. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Mike.